bells ring and jingle bells ring, snowing and blowing.
Howdy my sassy gals, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, my name's Lydia. I hope you stay a while. Today is Vlogmas Day 6. It is December 6th. Wow, this month is flying by super flippin' fast. It feels like it was just yesterday that it was Thanksgiving. I mean, literally, feels like just yesterday that it was Thanksgiving. That may be because I threw out the last of Thanksgiving food Monday, but just saying. Today's video is going to be just kind of a story time about me. Well, not really a story time, more of an informational video about me. I wanted to talk to you guys about what MS is and what it involves, and then kind of what I personally go through on a daily basis with my MS, and what I have to kind of do on a daily basis with my MS. So that's why, again, you see my full screen here. I'm going to pull up a website and read directly from it what exactly MS is and what it does, and then kind of tell you guys what my experience with it is, like I said, on a daily basis. Let's see. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Now, the information I am pulling is from the National Multiple Sclerosis... It's a tongue twister and can get you tongue-tied. It is from the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, and that's what MS stands for. MS is short for multiple sclerosis. Now, I was diagnosed officially in 2005, so I've known and had it for a long time. As you can see there, the definition of MS, Rick was diagnosed in 1991. And now back then they did not have all the steps that they go through, or the fewer steps that they go through now to diagnose you with MS. I had to have 3 distinct tests, but we'll get into all of that once I tell you the definition of multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis, or MS for short, involves an immune-mediated process in which an abnormal response of the body's immune system is directed against the central nervous system, the CNS. The CNS is made up of brain, spine, and optic nerves. And that'll come into play later, so remember that. My immune system basically attacks my brain, spine, and optic nerves. Within the CNS, the immune system causes inflammation that damages myelin, the fatty substance that surrounds and insulates the nerve fibers, as well as the nerve fibers themselves. The specialized cells that make myelin. So, in essence, what happens is, in layman's terms, my immune system has basically turned on my body and started eating away at the protective coating, which is myelin, around the nerves, therefore allowing my immune system to also get to my nerves, which affects me in many different ways. And like I said, once I kind of go through this a little bit more, I'm not going to read all of it. I will leave the link for this page down below if you would like to go and read more about it. It is a very interesting read, and it is interesting to see how it affects other people, and you know what they deal with on a daily basis with their MS. It does affect each person differently, just like with any disease. This person's MS may be very different from my MS, may be very different from the next person's MS. We all go through different things and different symptoms at different times. Now, we'll skip myelin. That didn't say medicated, that's in meditate. Medidated. If I can speak correctly. We all know I can't read. But it tells you like what each term means. It's considered to be an immune mediated disease. in which the body's immune system mistakenly attacks the myelin in the central nervous system. So, and then T cells and all of that. Now, you're more than welcome to go and research this further and read more about it and about what it does and how it affects other people and things like that. I encourage you to do so because there are a lot of people out there that do have MS, and it is hitting younger and younger kids each day. So, and each year, each month. So it is not something that we can just brush aside and not deal with. Now, the way it affects me is, yes, it affects all three of those parts of my body. It affects my brain, my spine, and my optic nerves. The way it affects my optic nerves is my eyesight is not as well as it used to, it's not as good as it used to be. Whereas I had to wear glasses before, my glass prescription has gotten worse over the years, and each time I get it examined and new glasses, it gets worse. The other way that it affects my optic nerve is I can get what's called optic neuritis, which means my optic nerve swells, and it can cause everything from blurred vision to blindness. And it can also, because of the strain on the eyes, it can cause migraines, extreme migraines. I'm fortunate enough right now, knock on wood, that I'm not suffering from optic neuritis right now, but I do have times where I do have an issue with it. A couple years ago, probably 3 years now, I fell and broke my left leg just above my ankle. And that was because I was going through a full body exacerbation, which means I was having generalized weakness all over my body, which means I could not get around good and I couldn't walk well. I couldn't use my arms very well either, as well as having blurred vision. So that's how I knew I was going through a full body exacerbation, because once it gets to my optic nerve and starts affecting my optic nerve, then we know it's a full bodied exacerbation. The way it affects my brain is I have several, if I can speak, lesions that are across my brain in different sectors, which affects different parts of my body. It affects everything from having migraines all the way down to having trouble walking. Good days, I can walk around my house with no assistance, no cane, no walker, no wheelchair, nothing like that. Bad days, I have to use a cane, a walker, or a wheelchair, depending on how bad it is on that day. There are some days where I can't even stand up out of bed because I can't walk. That's just a general thing. That's not, oh, I've hurt myself and can't move or something. No, there's just some days where I just literally physically cannot put my legs over the side of my bed and stand up because I can't move them. Because something is affecting me that day. And then I also have lesions down my spine. Now, most MS patients, from what I have seen, only have lesions on their brain. I'm one of the rare cases where I also got lesions down my spine, which also affects my mobility. It affects the strength of my arms, and it affects the strength of my legs. To add to all of that, I am also morbidly obese, meaning I am very, very, very overweight. And that is not a medical thing. That is, I really love to eat, and I can't help myself. It's kind of my comfort thing. I eat when I'm upset. I eat when I'm happy. I eat. I am a normal person, and had I known I was going to have this problem later on in life, I would have lost the weight. But now it's almost impossible for me to lose the weight like normal people. Yes, I can do it by my diet, things like that. But it makes it very hard when you're a low middle income family, maybe high in low income family, where we're literally surviving off of my disability and SSI to pay for our house and our power and all of that, and my husband's minimum wage job, you know. He makes just a little bit over minimum wage and works very, very hard to provide for his family, and we just barely make ends meet. So, that being said, it's very hard in our society to eat healthy when you don't have a lot of money. In a world where a bottle of water, or even not even a bottle of water, let's say a salad costs you $9 and a hamburger costs you $1. And now this is fast food. I'm not talking about cooking home food. That's even worse. But in, let's say, fast food, you want to grab something quick. When a salad costs you $9 and a hamburger costs you $1, which one are you going to go for? I must always go for the buck hamburger because it's cheaper. And, you know, it fills me up a little bit better. So, that being said, that is not part of my medical condition. That is just me, okay? I eat. I can't help it. I enjoy eating. But that on top of having my MS, I deal with a bevy full of problems every single day. Not only did I break my left leg just above my ankle, but I broke my right ankle a few years ago as well. I did that one first, and then a few years later I broke the left leg. And now the left leg took a lot more work, a lot more recovery time to heal. I did have to have surgery on both of them. I still have the hardware in my right leg with my right ankle. If I didn't have the hardware in my right ankle, I wouldn't be able to flex or move my foot properly. So, but they were able to take out the hardware in my left leg, so I do not have the hardware there anymore. I am by nature a very clumsy person. I could trip over air if I wanted to. If I'm not paying attention. So on that note, I fall quite a bit. I have a lot of falls, not because I'm having, medical problems or something. The slightest thing can make me trip and fall or slip and fall. I cannot pick myself up off the floor. Like most people can turn, maybe get on their knees and push themselves up off the floor. I can't do that because I am so weak throughout my body. And that is part of my MS. But then adding to that, my weight as well. So, but I deal with everything from migraines to, like right now, because it's very, very cold here, I'm dealing with the arthritis in my back and my lower extremities, like my ankles and my wrist. Now I've noticed my wrists are causing me problems now. So, yeah, my body is riddled with all sorts of kind of problems because problems that started even before my MS. Because on top of all of this and all of this being thrown at me, I have a birth defect called a Chiari malformation. At the base of the skull where the bone meets the other bone, there is a seam right there. Most people, it closes, you're fine. With me, because I have a Chiari malformation, it did not fuse correctly. So there is a gap there, which means my brain is slowly seeping through that gap. Whereas right now, it's not causing me a lot of problems. Later on in life, it could. And the ultimate thing I may have to do is have half of my neck removed. Now, advances in medical science, advances in surgical science, means I may not have to have that. They may be able to go in and fix it. But I don't want to have an unnecessary surgery until I need it, until it's a necessity. So, that's where I lie in that. So, things like getting up and washing the dishes or dealing with my 10-year-old or doing laundry, simple things like that where most people are like, meh, that's not a problem. It takes me twice as long to do it because I had to stop. Because the longer I try to stand on my legs and feet, the weaker they get, the worst it can be, and that one time I turn around and step may be the last time I do it. So I have to be very wary of that, very cautious of where I step, where I stand. If I'm in a place where I'm walking a lot, I will use a wheelchair. And I do get, the glances and the stares and the talking behind my back and things like that, because I do not look like someone who has a disability. You see me walking down the street, you might see my cane or my walker and be like, okay. But if you see me in a wheelchair, my face does not portray, oh, she's disabled. My body doesn't necessarily portray, oh, she's disabled. Unless you look closely and you see the scars on my ankles. And even then, it's like, oh, well, she's healed from that. Why is she in a wheelchair? Well, because I'm having a really bad day and I need to be in a wheelchair. Or I'm having a really bad day and I need to use my walker today. Or I'm having, most of the time, when I go outside of my house, I always use my cane. And to be 34 years old and having to use a cane, I would have never guessed it. At 20 years old, I wouldn't have looked at, I couldn't have looked at somebody and said, hey, when I'm, in my 30s, I'm going to be using a cane to get around. It was kind of like, oh, well, that's for old people. Older people need stuff like that, like canes and walkers and wheelchairs. Not me, I'm young. Well, let me tell you, when life throws it at you, life throws it at you hard, especially with, people like me who have disabilities. And and I'm not the only one out there that has MS. I'm not the only one out there on Second Life that has a disability. Whether it be something like a mental disability or a physical disability. We all deal with our weaknesses differently. And this is how I deal with my weakness. I push on, and I keep a positive attitude as much as I can. Now, I am human. I have my bad days, and I have my breakdowns. And I cry, and I lay in bed, and I hurt. But I don't necessarily tell everybody that. I may be like, oh, well, I have a headache today, or oh, I'm not feeling great today, or something like that. But I always downplay my pain, because it's mine to deal with. It's not for me to force on somebody else. And I try not to do that, because sympathy from people is good, because then they're sympathetic towards your situation. But I don't want someone to be like, oh, well, let me do this for you, do that. I'm very independent in the way that I try to do everything myself as much as I can within my limitations. Like right now, I'm washing dishes. It's taken me a while because I have to sit down for a few minutes and get back up, and then I get distracted and start doing things like filming a video for my Vlogmas. But then I get up, I finish another load, I put another load in to soak, and I sit down for a couple of minutes. And that's how it is with me. I have to be that way because of my disability and because of my restrictions that are on my body. Improving is a daily basis. That is, something that we never stop doing. And we never stop, unfortunately, we never stop declining either. Luckily, I have what they call relapsing remitting. I mean, sometimes I can go years and years and years and years and years and not have any type of problem with my MS. And then for 5 or 6 years, I can have exacerbation after exacerbation after exacerbation. Exacerbation basically means a flare-up of my MS, which means my immune system has had enough, and it said, okay, I'm done right now, so I'm going to affect this, 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 and this. Like I said, I had a full body exacerbation going on 3 years now. So 3 years ago. And that's when I fell and broke my left leg just above my ankle. And that was a process, because I went into the ER, and this will be a full story time for another time, but the end process of it took me months and months to heal. So that was really fun, and I was actually off Second Life for almost a year because of that. It was before I started my YouTube channel, and kind of what gave me my inspiration to start my YouTube channel, just because I would like to get my story out there and tell people out there is hope. There are people out there like you, and there are people out there suffering like you. And, the way I deal with things is very, very, very different from the way you may deal with things. But there is hope out there. There are people out there that you can talk to about this kind of stuff that will understand you. And don't ever give up hope. I was very, very close to doing that. It was very, very hard for me to pull out of my last bad depression, and it was during the really bad depression, because see, with a chronic illness like MS comes chronic pain, which means I have pain every day. There is no stopping it. Among a bevy of vitamins and prescriptions that I take to hold back my MS, I also take a shot 3 times a week, and it is a self-given shot. Now, it is all within an auto-injector, so I don't see necessarily the needle, but I do have to feel it when it goes in my skin. And I feel the medicine going in, and that medicine keeps me in check. So I have to have that each week, 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays are my days that I do my shot. And if I don't do that, then I am at higher risk of having an exacerbation, which I don't want to do. I hate being in the hospital. I really do. I love the fact that they take care of me and they do what I need, but I hate being in the hospital. I'd rather be home. So that's pretty much what I deal with on a daily basis. And I could go on and ramble on more about things that I deal with, specific things that I deal with. But that's kind of a gist of what MS is. And like I said, I will put the link to that website down below. And while you're down there checking that out, why don't you hit that button if you're not subscribed? It's completely free, and I would love to have you here on my channel. I love each and every one of you guys. Y'all are wonderful, and I hope you're having a fabulous holiday season. We've got quite a few more days to go, and then the kiddos get out for school, which is going to be fun in my household. So yeah, but make sure you hit the little bell or right next to that subscribe button to get all the notifications of when I upload. I am doing a video every single day in the month of December for Vlogmas. And who knows what I'll do tomorrow. I don't know. We may go to a sim and check out a Christmas sim, or I may read a book to my kids. I don't know. I know tomorrow I have dress rehearsal for our Christmas show coming up on the 15th. Super excited about that. It is promising to be a very wonderful show. Everybody in it is going to be phenomenal. Excellent numbers, excellent stages, excellent dances. So looking forward to seeing that. If you want to know any information, if you have any questions that you want to ask me, never hesitate to contact me in World, Lyda Mynx. And I will always talk to you. And I'll catch you on the flip side. And stay merry, because that's what we do around here.